Hi, my name is Chris Ward, CTO of GreenPages Logix 1, and I'm going to shoot a short video blog today talking about how to unleash the power of hybrid cloud technologies, but while reducing some of the complexity. So as many of you may know, if you've researched looking at hybrid clouds and tying, by hybrid cloud, by the way, I mean tying your potential private environment into a very public cloud or multiple public cloud providers like an AWS, an Azure, Google Cloud, etc. Right? There's a plethora of public providers out there, and then you may have very legitimate use cases for wanting to put various applications or developing applications in one or more of those public cloud environments. But in order to do so, you typically have to tie that data back into your private data center because you may run an application out in the public cloud that requires front end, say web scale, but you may keep your primary database, say on-premise, for example, or there may be other communication or interaction which is required between your private environment and whichever public environment or environments that you choose. So network connectivity and security are paramount in designing these solutions, but it's not necessarily as simple as marketing may tell you. In many cases, the cloud providers will say, yes, you can do direct path or express route, right, and get a direct pipe right into us, which is great. That solves some of the problems, but you still have to maintain a very detailed security wrapper. There may be various routing policies, especially when you start working on next-gen true cloud-native applications. You have to build resiliency in at the application level, which therefore means you're typically going to deploy these applications across multiple availability zones within cloud providers, or again, maybe even across multiple cloud providers, across multiple availability zones, potentially even across multiple continents. So it's not just as simple as saying I'm going to wire up a single direct path or single express route link straight into a cloud provider. There's a lot of very intense routing that has to be done, et cetera. Another big consideration too is how do I have this robust connectivity and resilient connectivity to my cloud providers? Connectivity now, when you go into this hybrid cloud world, is an absolute essential component. It can't go down. It's got to be up 24/7. And again, if you look at traditional ways in doing linked load balancing, linked multiplexing, et cetera, it can be done, but it's a fairly complex and costly endeavor. So there are some technologies that are forthcoming, some available now, some that are coming in the near future that can really help solve some of these challenges. One of them being software-defined WAN technologies, for example. There are, again, numerous vendors out there. Software-defined WAN category is a bit unique because I wouldn't say that there's a very huge, real solid definition of what SD-WAN is. So depending on the specific provider that you're looking at, you may have different feature sets or different capabilities. But essentially, at least in my opinion, the primary purpose of SD-WAN is really to be able to aggregate multiple connections, and so you have robust fat pipes with low latency, but also the ability to have seamless failover between them. So if you have a circuit that goes down, whether it's MPLS, broadband, whatever it may be, combine those together to form a single pipe. In the event that one side of it fails, you still have seamless traffic flowing over one or the other, whether it be inbound or outbound. So there's some great vendors in that space that you can take a look at. Additionally, from a management and automation perspective, especially if you get into multiple public cloud environments, you're typically going to need to have some sort of what's commonly referred to as a CMP or cloud management platform. Essentially, think of it as a centralized dashboard or control panel by which you can control and administer various workloads, various applications across multiple cloud environments. But again, setting these up traditionally has been extremely complex. So if you look at current solutions from whether it's VMware, whether it's CA, whether it's BMC, any of these traditional large-scale management platforms, there's a ton of engineering, design, and so forth that goes in just to getting the platform itself stood up in your environment before you even are able to use it. And even once that's complete, there's a ton of TLC, right, that goes into taking care of these platforms. You have to maintain them, you have to patch them, you have to continually develop on top of them. So it's a big undertaking, which is typically why we see only the very large customers, very large enterprise customers that have the capability to really utilize these solutions. But what we're seeing now is a movement from a lot of these vendors to essentially port those foundational components and into a cloud platform. So think of it as CMP, but it provided as essentially a software as a service, right? So take all that complexity of the foundational stuff out of the data center, suck that into the cloud, consume it as SaaS, and then you can immediately just start getting the benefits of these platforms, but without having all of the complexity of building them out underneath. So I'd love to spend more time speaking with you. If you have questions or would like to investigate this a little bit more, feel free to reach out to your Green Pages representative, and we'd be happy to discuss it further with you.